الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وفقها في الدين يا رب العالمين وألحقنا بعبادك الصالحين آمين يا رب العالمين. أما بعد فيقول الله عز وجل يا بني آدم خذوا زينتكم عند كل مسجد وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين. Last week we started the chapter of the clothing of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the guidance that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam reports to us in the blessed hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the month of Rabi'ul Awwal, and it's the month which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born, and it's the month which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam died as well. So it's a great blessing, and it is also something that we are sad about of the demise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He has come to this world in order to guide us to the straight path. Okay? We should follow his guidance in order for us in our day-to-day lives to become successful and to become the best of humans, because he was the greatest and he was the best. He was the master of all the Sayyidul Anbiya wal Mursaleen. He was the master of all the Anbiya alayhimus salam, from first to last, from Adam alayhi salam until the last person to come. He is the greatest, he is the most noble, he is the most sublime in character. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes him as sublime character. We have given him as such a great level of character that can never be surpassed. So this character must be followed in all of his footsteps. The Sahaba, when they knew any small sunnah, even the slightest of sunnah, I reported yesterday in my bayan, those who were listening, 100 sunnahs of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Anas radiallahu anhu, he didn't used to like a certain type of vegetable. The moment he saw Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam picking out those vegetables, from that day on he says, I started liking it. I started loving it. Even things which were not even shar'i, it's got nothing to do with the shar'i hukum. Even those things, his personal likes and dislikes, the Sahaba would also like and dislike. They would go to that degree. Allahu Akbar. Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, when he knew that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam stopped at a certain place in a certain way and he done certain things, he would also do exact. When he would stop, he would make sure his conveyance stops at that certain place, and he would do that same exact action, whether it was 2 rakat salah or something else. Allahu Akbar. This was the level of Sahaba following Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even in the things which were not necessary for them to. Okay, this was the level of their being very what do you call it? Very forbearant and being very strong upon the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we carry on inshallah from the hadith. Last week we spoke about the izar, the pants, the longi, the lower garment, the upper garment, not to go below the ankles. Anything which is below the ankles is in the fire, as it mentions in a hadith. Okay, this is not just for salah, it's for day-to-day life. And we gave you the hukum of the fuqaha, the ulama. What do they say? As a person that does it out of pride, it is absolutely haram in the most staunch ways. Okay? It's said whatever is in the below the ankles is in the fire. Okay? For women, it's of course the opposite. They're not supposed to be acting upon these ahadith. They're supposed to be doing the opposite, because they should look at Mother Aisha, Fatima radiallahu anha, Khadija, and all the rest of the ummahatul mu'mineen. And they were fully covered. So that was the hadith there. Then we said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't, this is a warning, this is a great threat from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Rasulullah told the person to go again and again and to repeat his salah and repeat his wudu as well. He rebuked him to such an extent, he said, go and repeat your wudu and go and come and back and repeat your salah. He done this thrice. On the third time, another sahabi said, just tell him, just tell him what's wrong with his salah. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, innahu kana yusalli wa huwa musbilun izarahu. He was praying whilst his lower garment or his tube as well was under his ankles. That's why I made him go and repeat his salah, because Allah does not accept a salah like that. Okay, so this is a severe, harsh warning from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we said a person that doesn't do it out of pride, it is makruh tahriman, next to haram, detested to the highest degree. Detested to the highest degree if a person does it for fashion, for culture. Okay? And a person that does it unwillingly, accidentally falls off his waist, then he is not considered in this hadith. Okay? He is forgiven, he is overlooked, he is pardoned. Now we go on to some other hadith which mention the dua. When you have new clothes, what dua must you make? Okay? Here the hadith is on the authority of Mu'adh ibn Anas radiyallahu anhu. قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أكل طعاما, whoever eats فقال الحمد لله الذي أطعمني هذا ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. Whoever reads this dua, everyone try to say it with me. الحمد لله الذي أطعمني ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. Very easy. من غير حول مني ولا قوة. If you say this hadith, if you say this dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what happens? What's the recompense? What's the jaza? A person's previous sins are forgiven. Allahu Akbar. Imagine all your minor sins are all forgiven because of one dua that you read all the time after eating. Alhamdulillahi alladhi wa razaqanihi min ghayri hawlin minni wala quwwah. Try to memorize this dua inshallah. Then وَمَنْ لَبِسَ ثَوْبًا جَدِيدًا, whoever wears a new piece of clothing, new garment, and he says Alhamdulillahi alladhi kasani hadha wa razaqanihi min ghayri hawlin minni wala quwwah. The last part is very, very similar. The only difference is kasani. Instead of at'amani, kasani. Alhamdulillahi alladhi kasani هذا ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. Whoever recites this, again غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه, his previous sins will also be forgiven. So wearing a new pair of clothes, garments, anything, you must read this dua. الحمد لله الذي كساني هذا ورزقنيه من غير حول مني ولا قوة. Try to memorize these du'as, and then all your previous sins will be forgiven. Also the other one, Alhamdulillahi alladhi at'amani wa razaqanihi min ghayri hawlin minni wala quwwah. Those are two important du'as that we must memorize in order for our day to day. Our children that go to maktab, they know. We should be ashamed. We should be ashamed. They learn it in their dua books when they're 5 years old, 6 years old. You understand? We should be ashamed. Let's go and buy a dua book and let's learn this, isn't it? Huh? Let's man up, as they say. If we're not doing it, how do you expect our children to come and do it? Isn't it? The one that we know, Alhamdulillah alladhi at'amani wa saqani wa ja'alani min al-muslimin, that's fine. Alhamdulillah alladhi at'amana wa saqana wa ja'alani min al-muslimin, that's fine. But this one, the reward is much greater, isn't it? So which one must we do? The one that has much more good reward. All our past sins are forgiven. Allahu Akbar. So let's move on to the another hadith. This is also reported in regards to new clothing. Alhamdulillahi alladhi kasani ma uwari bihi awrati wa atajammalu bihi fi hayati. This is very famous. This is a very famous, easy one. Alhamdulillahi alladhi kasani ma uwari bihi awrati wa atajammalu bihi fi hayati. The next chapter that we're going to go on to, I'm going to miss one hadith there. The hadith is very simple. Basically, it's talking about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a bounty to, any type of bounty, any type of favor, okay, and he is thankful over that bounty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he rewards him even before he thanks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does this mean? This means, for example, your salary came in. You are thankful, alhamdulillah, Allah has given you a job, isn't it? When your salary comes in, immediately from your heart, you are thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even before it comes out of your tongue. So when your heart is thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, automatically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there too. The angels are already writing your good deeds. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's generosity is. Even before you open your mouth, He's ready to give you your rewards. But it's not like that when it comes to sins. When it comes to sin, you must commit the action and then the angels will write. Not before. If you make the intention of a sin, the angels don't start writing. They're not allowed to write. This is the mercy of Allah. Allahu Akbar. Only when you commit the action, then the sin will be written down. Then وَمَا أَذْنَبَ عَبْدٌ ذَنْبًا, a servant, when he commits a sin and he regrets over it, he remorses over it, he knows he's done something bad, he knows he's done something really bad, before he technically repents, without his tongue coming out, because of his remorse, due to his regret, already Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there to forgive him. Allah forgives him already. And then, same thing with wearing a new pair of clothes. Wearing a new pair of clothes here, because we're on the chapter of clothing, this hadith is brought, that whoever wears a garment and thanks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before even he thanks Allah, before he gets it out of his mouth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there to already forgive all of his past sins. Forgive all of his past sins. Hatta yughfar Allahu lahu. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive him totally. The next chapter we have is a very important chapter, and a chapter that we must try to apply, at least if we can't do it outside of our homes, then at least within our homes. Okay? This is a chapter to do with women and their dressing. عن عبد الله بن عمرو رضي الله عنهما قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول يكون في آخر أمتي رجال يركبون على سرج كأشباه الرحال ينزلون على أبواب المساجد نساؤهم كاسيات عاريات على رؤوسهن كأسنمة البخت العجاف العنوف إلعنوهن فإنهن ملعونات يا رب لو كان وراءكم أمة من الأمم خدمت هن نساؤكم كما خدمكم نساء الأمم قبلكم. Ya Allah, this is one of the signs of the Day of Judgment. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, at the end of time there will come a people. Look at the description. Anyone that knows Arabic will be absolutely amazed. Look at the description. Allahu Akbar. People will come at the doors of the masjid. At the doors of masjid, riding conveyances of luxury. What are we doing today? We are driving cars, luxurious cars, right to the front of the door of the masjid, isn't it? Isn't this the Akhirul Zaman? Isn't this the sign? Allahu Akbar. This hadith is in Sahih ibn Hibban, Hakim, and many other books. And the authenticity is far beyond ala sharti Muslim, according to the shart of Imam Muslim, according to the condition of Imam Muslim. So they will, the Akhirul Zaman, at a time will come at the end of time when people will come to the doors of the masjid in luxurious conveyances, right until the abwab, the doors of the masjid. Nisa'uhunna, their women folk, their wives at home. Nisa'uhum kasiyatun ariyat. They will be clothed yet naked. And here, ulama have three different explanations of what means clothed and naked, yet naked at the same time. One, they are wearing clothes, but they are ungrateful. That's one. Okay? That's one. They are wearing clothes, but they are ungrateful for the clothes that they're wearing. Number two, they are wearing clothes, but it's see-through. So they're wearing clothes as if they're not wearing clothes. It's too thin. It's see-through. Number three, it is so tight that the body is exposed. Body, the shape of the body is exposed. Isn't this happening? Isn't this Akhirul Zaman? Isn't this what Rasulullah prophesied? This never happened. Even himself he says this has not come yet. So this has come in our zamana, unfortunately. We are living in this time. Then he says, so those are the three explanations of Nisa'un kasiyatun ariyat. Another one more explanation the author has in the commentary is they're wearing clothes on a part of the body and they're not wearing clothes on other parts of the body. Okay? Cut, slit, whatever you want to call it, all of those things as well. Allah save us from this fitna, great fitna. The next part. Ala ru'usihinna ka'asnimatil bukhtil ijaf. Their hair is made in such a way like a camel. A camel when it has a fat hump, Arabian camel when it has a fat hump protruding out. Okay? Here the camel is skinny camel. Rasulullah says ijaf. The camel that is skinny but it's got a fat hump on top. Or like bent. The hump normally when it's really fat, it's normally bent. So here she's wearing her hair doing her hair in such a way that her hair is puffed up and at the same time bent a bit at the back. Okay? This is the warning of Rasulullah that these women will be doing this. Then Rasulullah says, إِلْعَنُوهُنَّ فَإِنَّهُنَّ مَلْعُونَاتٍ. Curse them. These women are cursed. Curse them, for indeed they are cursed. فَإِنَّهُنَّ مَلْعُونَاتٍ لو كان وراءكم أمة من الأمم خدمتهن نساؤكم كما خدمكم نساء الأمم قبلكم. Basically the last part is saying, these women, they will become slaves. Just like slavery existed once upon a time, here Rasulullah knows. Allahu Akbar. How did Rasulullah know this? 1400 years after. 1444 years, 5 years after. How did this? This is prophecy to the degree of Allahu Akbar, It's unbelievable. These women will be like slaves. Like before you had slaves, these women will become slaves, like slaves. These women are working, all these women, they're fitna mongering women. What are they working? They're working like slaves. They become commodities. They don't have no value anymore. The value of a woman is when a woman bears children, when a woman becomes a mother, when a woman becomes a grandmother, when a woman becomes an auntie, when a woman becomes respectable, when a woman preserves her chastity. Allahu Akbar. Allah give all of our wives the best of chastity and the best of, and stay away from all these attributes that are found in the hadith of Akhir al-Zaman. Allahu Akbar. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صنفان من أهل النار لم أرهما. Here, the hadith is here. There are two characteristics of the people of fire that I have not seen yet. I have not seen yet. قوم معهم سياط كأذناب البقر يضربون بها الناس. Allahu Akbar. Imam Anwar Awlaki. Whoever knows, okay? One of the people that inspired me to become who I became, okay? From those times. Anyway, let's leave the topic, okay? It's a controversial topic. Anyway, someone I love personally, okay? Due to the zeal that he had, due to the motivation, enthusiasm he had regarding deen. Maybe he went wrong in some masail of deen. Allah forgive him, He became a shaheed, inshallah. We make dua for his akhirah and for him to get the highest levels of Jannatul Firdaus. He was a reformer that reformed hundreds of thousands of people. Okay? Hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions probably. His lectures were so powerful, Allahu Akbar. They have deleted all his lectures and they have regarded him something not what he is. قوم معهم سياط كأذناب البقر يضربون بها الناس. What was his translation for this? Literal meaning is a whip that they will be hitting others with. He translated this, I remember very carefully from his lectures, he translated this as phones. This is the fitna of phones. What can you do with a phone? You can whip anyone and everyone from this side of the world to the other side of the world within seconds. Within seconds. What does whipping mean here? Slandering, isn't it? Insulting, offending. All those bad things you can do on the tap of your phone. Something that is within your hands, reach, and you are attacking others non-stop. This is completely haram, brothers. This is completely haram. And this is what these people will do. Okay, Rasulullah is saying, Akhiru Zaman. وَنِسَاءٌ كَاسِيَاتٌ عَارِيَاتٌ مُمِيلَاتٌ. Mumilat, here adds mumilat. They will have this walk. How? Which walk? The walk which they wear, when they wear the heels, they go from one side to the other side. They incline from one side to the other side. In Arabic, how beautiful. Mail. Mumilat. Ma'ilat. From one side to the other side. Moving the hips. How? What level of description? Allahu Akbar. رؤوسهن كأسنمة البخت المائلة لا يدخلن الجنة. They will surely not enter Jannah. ولا يجدن ريحها. Nor will they even smell the fragrance of Jannah. وإن ريحها لا يوجد من مسيرة كذا وكذا. And the smell of Jannah will be far away. Far away from them. Meaning if they want to reach Jannah, it will be very difficult. Very, very difficult. But inshallah, tawbah is there. The doors of tawbah is there. We know many bad women have become good women. Many bad men have become awliya of Allah. Then they became the guiders of hundreds of thousands of people. Isn't it? Drunkards became the ustads of Imam Bukhari. Isn't it? So, never look down upon anyone. Never look down upon anyone. If your sister is doing something wrong, if your daughter is doing something wrong, if your niece is doing something wrong, our job is to guide them. Our job is to try and save them from the fire, just like Rasulullah saved us. Inshallah. وعن عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها أن أسماء بنت أبي بكر دخلت على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعليها ثياب رقاق. The daughter of Abu Bakr, Asma, she entered upon Rasulullah. This was most probably before the order of hijab. The order of hijab, the ayah of hijab coming down. Jilbab. يا أيها الذين آمنوا يا أيها النبي قل لأزواجك وبناتك ونساء المؤمنين يدنين عليهن من جلابيبهن. Before that ayah. Asma radiallahu anha, she became of age. She probably became at the age of 11, 12. And at that age, most girls are mature. Most girls are mature, isn't it? The moment haid comes, the moment menstruation cycles come, she's mature according to Islam. All the obligations of Islam are fard upon her. All those things which are haram upon her. All those things which are fara'id must be done. No choice. So here Asma radiallahu anha, she came with a clothing that was very thin, meaning see-through type clothing. Here Rasulullah immediately removed his face. He removed his face and he looked the other way. He said, Ya Asma, like a daughter, okay? Ya Asma, when a girl turns mature and her menstruation hits in, okay? At that time, it is not suitable. Look at how Rasulullah advised her. It is not suitable for a girl that has matured, that has become of age 11, 12. Even before this, we must start the training. Okay? Even before this, we must start the training of love of hijab, love of niqab, love of all those things which are covering. Lam yasluh. It is not suitable for a person of your stature to be seen in this way. وَأَشَارَ إِلَى وَجْهِ, and only the part which the face and the hands he showed, only the face and the hands can be exposed. To that extent, the face and the hands until the wrists can be exposed. Here, inshallah, let me go through two more ahadith on the next chapter. Here, Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu says, لا تلبسوا الحرير فإنه من لبسه في الدنيا لم يلبسه في الآخرة. This is for men. This is for men. Whoever wears silk in this dunya will not wear it in akhirah. Will not wear it in akhirah. Silk is haram upon the next hadith says من لبس إنما يلبس الحرير من لا خلاق له. The one who wears silk has no portion of akhirah, meaning has no portion of Jannah. Has no portion of Jannah. In the next hadith, من لبس الحرير في الدنيا لم يلبسه في الآخرة وإن دخل الجنة لبسه أهل الجنة ولم يلبسه. If a person wears silk in this world as a man, this is talking about men, okay? If a man wears silk in this dunya, he will not be given the garments of silk in Jannah. Even if he manages to enter Jannah, the people of Jannah will wear silk, he will be forbidden to wear silk. Just like there's another hadith of khamar. Okay, those who drink alcohol in this world will never drink alcohol in the akhirah. The alcohol of the akhirah, we're going to have rivers of whole alcohol, and that alcohol will be pure. Will be pure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it for those who restrain themselves in this dunya. Okay? Restrain themselves in this dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reserve it specifically for them. So those that will enter Jannah, drinking alcohol intentionally in this dunya, will not get a share of that alcohol of Jannah. They will never taste this. Then one more inshallah, the last hadith, that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam here says, Rasulullah took silk in one hand, gold in another hand, in front of the Sahaba like this. Silk in one hand, gold in another hand. And he said, إن هذين حرام على ذكور أمتي. These two items have been made haram upon the male folk of my ummah. So gold and silk is impermissible for men. Is that understood? Now the ulama have said, if the gold is less than 4 fingers, the amount of 4 fingers on the borders, on the buttons, on the cuffs maybe, yeah, gold or silk, just on the borderlines, then it is ma'fu anhu, it is forgiven and overlooked. If a person were to wear real gold and if a person were to wear real silk, it will be overlooked because the majority of the garment is not gold. It's only the sides or only a couple of strings. Okay? If it's very small, then it's overlooked. If it's not very small, then you will fall under the... Best is to leave all those things for akhirah. Okay? Best is to leave all of these things. Jawaz is there. If you're rich and you have that amount of money, maybe you can wear those things if you have that money. But best is to leave, because of the ahadith are very severe in their approach. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to act upon all the ahadith that have been narrated. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from our women folk not wearing the appropriate dressing and becoming a fitna upon the rest of the ummah. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Who's going to give the adhan?